Welcome to the library at Temple Emanu, and thanks for tuning in to see our commentary on this week's Torah portion. Of course, this week we are already into the month of Elul, the last month of the Jewish year, and for the past week or so we have been preparing liturgically as well as hopefully spiritually for the coming of the new year and for the period of repentance and return that is upon us. This week's Torah portion is Ki Teitzei. The literal meaning is when you go out, and the first narrative in the Torah portion is Ki Teitzei leMilchama, when you go out to war, and continues to talk about how we are to treat people who are subjugated to us, people who are captives. The Torah portion goes on to talk about how we treat the land and really contains laws that don't pertain so much to our relationship with God, but pertain to our relationship with our fellow human beings and also somewhat to the earth itself. Most notably, we have a law that shows up in chapter 21, beginning with verse 15 of the Torah portion, which says that if you have two wives and you don't like the first wife too much, you like the second wife better, you are not to treat the second wife's children better than you treat the first wife's children. That the firstborn son still gets the double portion, the primogeniture. Of course, for those of you who remember back to Bereshit, that is exactly what Jacob did not do. Remember, Jacob marries two women, not quite of his own fault, but has two women, and he prefers Joseph, the son of his second wife, Rachel, over the children of Leah, and of course Joseph ultimately, functionally, becomes the firstborn. So this week's Torah portion absolutely forbids something that we see one of our patriarchs doing in the book of Genesis. Why? What's happened? What's happened is that now that we are a people, having left Egypt, having escaped slavery, having renewed our covenant with God as a national entity at Sinai, we now have a covenant with God that includes how we deal with our other human beings, our spouses, our children, and just people we come along the way. And it also includes people whom we do not know, because this Torah portion is also the parsha that gives us the mitzvah of returning lost objects, particularly cattle, to people who we do not know. If you find a stray donkey or a stray animal, you are supposed to take care of it until hopefully you find the owner. This is an enormously important Torah portion as we approach the High Holy Days. As we all know, we are told that we cannot be reconciled with God until we are in fact reconciled with each other. And Ki Teitzei, when we go out, not just when we go out to war, chas v'sholom, but also when we go out in society, we have to think about how we treat others. We have to work on ourselves, beginning in the month of Elul, to achieve these goals that this week's Torah portion has for us, where we are commanded not to just to treat people the way we would like to be treated, but to treat people better, to treat people according to a higher standard. This is an important message for all year, but especially as we move towards the High Holy Days in this month of Elul. It is now appropriate to say Lashana Tova to all of you, and Shabbat Shalom.